I see a lot of motivations behind why people choose to be entrepreneurs. Some people choose to be entrepreneurs because they are looking for the next best thing. Some people choose to be entrepreneurs because they are looking out for economic freedom. How do you play in this space and ensure that you have that competitive advantage?
Personally, I think it's difficult to achieve that, but I think Oraimo has been able to strike that right balance. In fact, I was shocked when I saw that there are knockoff Oraimo products in the market. Yes.
Knockoffs?
Yeah, there are knockoff Oraimo products in the market. At the end of the day, the primary benefactors of this competition are the consumers in general, because the competition will benefit the entire...
It will benefit the entire market. People get to a certain point and they say, oh, our customers are loyal, and they forget that you need to maintain that loyalty. Someone says that the price for greatness is the rent that you pay for it every single day. You never really own greatness.
When it comes to brand loyalty, a primary factor is price.
Especially in a market like ours. It's going to be a bit different because we'll be talking about things that are really particular to us as entrepreneurs in Africa. I believe strongly that entrepreneurs have the power to change the world and to solve the world's problems. And entrepreneurship is a calling. It's a responsibility. It's a call to action. It's a call to society. If I could borrow from the words of my president, the new president, it's a responsibility.
Yes.
That we owe our society to ensure that we solve the problems within society. And that's really what makes an entrepreneur, the ability to solve problems. Right now, I see a lot of motivations behind why people choose to be entrepreneurs. Some people choose to be entrepreneurs because they are looking for the next best thing. Some people choose to be entrepreneurs because they are looking out for
economic freedom.
Economic freedom, you know. But today, like you've seen, I have my friend here, Solomon, with us. And it's very important that we discuss these things and we help people realign themselves to understand the call. As a matter of fact, I don't believe that there has been any more greater time in history that we need more entrepreneurs. That is, when I mean entrepreneurs, I mean people who are actually looking to solve problems in our society than ever before in Africa. Yeah. I believe strongly that there is a great need for more entrepreneurs who are driven beyond just the fact of making money. Yes, they will make money, but just with that obsessive nature to see problems solved, in society, that mindset of trying to solve problems. I like to call it a benevolent conspiracy to solve problems within our community that we eventually get rewarded for by virtue of money, that people can say, oh, this person has so amount of money. But if you see people who have built environments, people who have built cultures around the world, like if you watch, for example, documentaries like Men Who Built America, there was a general benevolent conspiracy, right? Beyond just the fact that they were trying to enrich themselves, they were in so doing enriching community. But what's happened is that many people are trying to rather enrich themselves and don't mind if they are deploring the environment, and society. And I think it's more like a call to conscious capitalism, whereby entrepreneurs really see it as a duty, as a burden, like I like to call it the builder's curse. Right, you always keep building. There's responsibility. You're never really satisfied. You really want to just see society better through the products that you've enjoyed. And I would like to begin our conversation with something that I read from Steve Jobs. And I'm going to paraphrase it really. He said something like this. He said, "I live in a planet that I did not create. I eat a food that I do not know how it's made. I wear clothes that I did not create the technology that made it. I wake up in the morning and I go to the hospital when I needed treatment, and I did not know necessarily anything about the doctors that were treating my illness, And then he now went on, because there was an email he wrote to himself, and he now went on to say that every single day we all experience this, living in the world and living in the community, that we also have no input in creation. and every time we get an opportunity to contribute to, it's our own way of being grateful, to what we've also benefited from others, because anything that we build is building upon the foundations, that others have provided for us, So with that said, Solomon, welcome.
Thank you so much.
This episode.
That is a very powerful quote by Steve Jobs. He was truly a very purposeful entrepreneur. And indeed, he left the world much better than he met it. I learned a lot from Steve Jobs, even up to today. Sometimes, it's a good practice to just go watch his talks, conversations he had with his team members, his worldwide developers conferences that
he did when he was alive.
When he was alive, when he launched pivotal products in his time. I can remember the conference that he launched the iPhone, the iPad, the MacBook Air.
Yeah. Those were really breakthrough products. Now we are seeing the Vision Pro.
Yes. And he had his way of introducing those products to the world. And there's a lot to learn from Steve Jobs.
But if I may ask you, Solomon, why if you were not where you are today, building Takeout Media and Technology Media Global and all the various brands under it, what kind of business would you be doing? What's something else that you think you'll be doing?
I've never really thought about it, but I think I've always been one who is interested in quality products, be it fashion, be it in the auto business, cars, be it in the consumer electronics market. So, I've been fascinated with quality products. That's why I like the Apple brand. I like the German auto brands, Mercedes and the BMs. So if I wasn't in Takeout Media, I'll most likely, in the last episode you spoke about when we were in secondary school, when we used to draw electronics.
Yeah, that's very, very true.
I'll be in the consumer market, definitely. What product, I'm not sure. It could be, definitely it will be a consumer product. It will be a consumer product.
Really?
Yeah, it will be a consumer product.
I
don't necessarily think I'll be in the B2B space, because B2B is more client interfacing.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
And thankfully we are in the B2B creating for the customers, so it's more interesting that way.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I think I'll really enjoy being in the product space, irrespective of which sector it is. Perhaps maybe the smartphone market. One brand that I really find interesting in Nigeria today is the Oraimo brand.
The Oraimo brand. Oraimo.
I like the way they've been creating products for a particular the middle class of Nigeria.
Yeah, I'm happy you mentioned the Oraimo brand, because that was the next question I was going to actually ask you, because I was going to ask you, what are brands that you are currently seeing that you think you've been seeing their moves that have been impressive to you, but I'll let you finish. I just wanted to. So
the Oraimo brand is really an interesting one, because they are not necessarily creating products for, so typically, the Nigerian economic situation where we have a very limited number of people that earn $10 a day. So it's difficult to create upscale products for the Nigerian population. But Oraimo has been able to find that balance to create both for the upper middle class and the middle class as well. And I think what they are doing has a lot of potential, because they are evolving. Recently, they launched a product and it cost about $1 million. This alternative power product,
Which one?
It's a mobile backup power
generator.
Yes, it's not generator. So you plug it to power, it charges, and I think it can be charged by solar panels as well.
Okay, I've been seeing that thing trending.
Yeah, I think it's called Blue Veti or something.
Yeah, okay. Are they the ones behind that?
Yes, so they partnered with Oraimo to launch that product.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, that's really phenomenal, because why I found out, I actually sent that link to someone. I didn't know it was Oraimo.
Yeah.
Man, those guys are really responsive, because I mean, it's a perfect time right now in the markets.
Yeah, I mean, the cost of energy
has gone up,
yeah.
because of fuel. Everyone is trying to find an alternative. Innovation is happening. People are trying to think ahead. Today, interestingly, I saw on Twitter a guy was talking about using liquefied natural gas, or is it CNG, to power his gen. He just changed his system so that his normal generator can use CNG. I think I also saw a post around I think Innocent Motors. Innocent Motors was trying to
true LNG buses.
Yes, LNG buses. He was
yeah.
trying to say he can build, and LNG is cheaper, right? Liquefied natural gas is cheaper. And so it's really interesting kind of innovation. So I'm really impressed to see Oraimo is actually
and what's interesting is that they've evolved. When they started with charging cables. They started with earphones, but today they have a full range of products, from kitchen appliances to lifestyle appliances.
Yeah, that's true.
They do blenders, they do clippers, so it's an interesting brand, and they've been able to.
Phones?
Not yet, but they do a lot of
those guys
mobile accessories. Yes, yeah. I mean, their parent company though is the company that has Techno and I think IT.
Oh, okay. Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Because I was about to speak of Techno, because I remember they are moving like Techno in the market. So they've got the same moves, they've got the same style and imprint. I was about to say, I remember Techno moved like this once.
Exactly. But to be honest, what the people, the team behind Oraimo, they are doing a phenomenal work.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And I think. I mean, someone said jokingly when Apple released their Vision Pro that they are just waiting for the Oraimo response, because of the price
funny.
point
That's
of
funny.
$3,500, for a unit. So they know that Oraimo is going to come out with a response. I think basically Oraimo is just taking advantage of the fact that the market just want something that works.
Exactly. And they've been able to combine affordability and quality. I mean, personally, I think it's difficult to achieve that, but I think Oraimo has been able to strike that right balance, because Oraimo products are in fact, I was shocked when I saw that there are knockoff Oraimo products in the market. Yes.
Knockoffs?
Yeah, there are knockoff Oraimo products in the market.
Wow.
It will shock you. So, and that communicates a lot. That means they've paid attention to their quality control, and I think they are doing a great job. They're doing a great job. They've been able to strike that balance between affordability and quality. Yeah. So
I mean, the Oraimo brand, really, I must say, I give it to them, even with their use of what do you call it, brand ambassadors, when they used, I think, Two-Face for the AirPods.
Two-Face, Burna Boy as well.
Okay, they use Burna Boy.
Yes, they use Burna Boy too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people use Oraimo smartwatches. It will shock you. A lot of people use Oraimo smartwatches.
Yes, I saw one today.
Yeah.
I actually thought it was an Apple smart watch. I was like, is it you have an Apple watch? And the person was like, oh no, it's Oraimo. I was like, okay.
So imagine for 10-20% of an Apple Watch, you can get a quality smartwatch that does its job.
At 10-20% of the price of an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
And I mean, they seem to be durable in the market. I mean, it now seems like they paid us for this episode, but I wanted us to talk about something that is currently going on in the, there's a lot going on right now in Nigeria, in Africa, globally, but there's something that I don't see a lot of conversation around, and I think we should really speak about it, right? And that is the rise of the mobile virtual network operators in Nigeria, the MVNOs, right?
Yeah.
For those who are watching, I'll just give a little brief on what an MVNO is. So typically, according to, let me get a definition according to the way NCC puts it, right? So now basically what happens is that a mobile virtual network operator is actually going to be like a telecoms companies. Recently, the NCC just gave out about 25 licenses, right? And the goal of them is that most of these mobile virtual network operators are supposed to bridge the gap, the telecoms gap, trying to reach an unincluded group of people, right? But generally, I mean, I'll comment on that anyways, but basically they won't necessarily be owning their own infrastructure. They might own their own tech. From my own little research also, I found out that the MVNO structure has 5 different tiers of what they call it, of licenses, right? But it's something really I'm excited to see, because what I see is this. The reason why I'm talking about it is that I see this being the rise, the way fintech was to banking.
Yeah.
I see MVNOs being that
for the
telecom space. Because typically what an MVNO does is an MVNO buys bulk from the big telco and carries that bulk that they bought and resells it to the target audience using their own brand. So for example, let's say I go and I buy 1,000 gigabytes, from MTN, and I come and you guys have already subscribed to my SIM cards and everything. You know me. Let's say my name is Bluecoms, and you buy Bluecoms, and I'm only going to be strong in that area of data. I think that's something that I've seen that's currently that's going to happen. With the MVNOs, I see them being able to create niche services. So, for example, if you travel to countries like the UK or the US, you see things like Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile, was started by Ryan Reynolds. Interestingly, he sold. It's actually an MVNO. And they never had any offices. They had SIM cards. You bought online. You got it delivered to you. They had the best of plans at a certain level. If you go to the UK, for example, you see platforms like Lebara. Lebara is majorly for people that come to the UK and want to do international calls. That's what they excel at. So I think we'll be seeing a lot of activity within that telecom space in terms of innovation, because 25 licenses were given. So I'm very excited to see what will become of it. There's going to be a lot of marketing. There's going to be a lot of competition, But I mean, I look forward to seeing how these players will play, because all of them got different licenses, tiers, right? I think if I check my list here, I won't necessarily mention all their names, but I saw MAP Consultant. I think a popular name that I came across, I think they call themselves Paribas Communication. I don't know if they are related to the Paribas guys that own ShopRite and the rest of them. But I saw IPNX. IPNX also got an MVNO license. I also saw, there's one more company I saw. I've forgotten their name now. I can't really find on my list here. But they are actually coming into that space to see how they could disrupt things.
They could innovate.
They could innovate. So that's something I'm excited about, because the telecom space has been there for over 20-something years in Nigeria right now. And we only have 4 major players, and then we have all the other guys who are...
No, definitely. Telecom space needs a lot of innovation. When it comes to the data space, other players have come in, but I think we need more players when it comes to mobile telecommunication, because look at a particular niche you just spoke about, the Lebara niche, where people that travel to United Kingdom want to make international calls and just want to get a SIM card for that purpose. I think that is a huge market.
I agree.
And this MVNO licenses that has been given, I believe it's an opportunity for these companies to come in, bring in their innovation, bring in their marketing, because marketing too is key. Mint Mobile, I spoke about, Ryan Reynolds, he's a brilliant brand person.
He is.
He did the same brand innovation for different. Tequila, I think aviation.
Yes, he did for aviation too.
Aviation gin. He created an alcoholic beverage for the travel market. He did it also for, I think he just acquired majority shares for a football brand in the UK.
Yes, he's also trying to do that. The brand. I think he's been able to use his personal brand to see how he can grow these various businesses that he has started.
Exactly. So he's brilliant when it comes to brand innovation. Yeah, and I think this new MVNO licensees, yeah, should be innovative in their marketing and branding approach. There's a huge market to exploit.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So, and I think something that BS mentioned, I mean, let me just even read it here. I was trying to see how much Ryan Reynolds sold his MVNO for. I think $1.35 billion. He actually sold it to T-Mobile, from just building it as from his personal brand.
Yeah.
I think he still partnered with some technical people. I don't think he was the only one. Yeah. But he's eventually sold it for $1.3 billion to T-Mobile, who is also an MVNO player in the US. So something that comes to mind now is this. I think whoever is actually looking to play in this MVNO space right now must think about three things.
Yeah.
Number one, I would say they must be thinking about right now is they must look for the right community.
Yeah.
To target.
The target audience.
Yeah, a sizable community that they should target. They should look out for a simple idea, because you see, second thing is they should look out for a simple idea, right? Because the simple idea is this. A lot of the big telecom, the MNOs, right, like they call them, the MTNs and the Glo, what they suffer is that their messaging gets muddled up.
True.
Right? Because today they are telling you international calls, tomorrow they are selling you data, next tomorrow they are selling you night calls, next tomorrow. I mean, there are just lots of packagings that they just keep pushing your way and you almost get confused.
I mean, I like the similarity you used earlier. It's just like the big banks now. They have product departments. They're always thinking of different products to offer to the general market. So that's how these big telecom companies are now. In fact, it takes a lot to run a sizable telecom business. So they have to look for creative ways to get people to buy across different product lines.
And I like, as you mentioned, then we saw in the banking sector, for example, like I told someone, I said, what Piggyverse is doing today, any other person could have been doing it, right? In terms of any bank, you could have done it with any of your banks. But banks do a whole lot of things. Yeah. So simply what Piggyverse did was they picked a certain area, which was savings.
Yeah.
And they kept hitting that narrative.
Yeah.
Until they were able to build a community around it. And that community eventually became loyal followers. And today now, I think, in my own personal opinion, I think Piggyverse is one of the most undervalued startups. We don't know their value.
True.
Because obviously they've not necessarily raised or they've not necessarily sold. But I think they're one of the most undervalued startup right now.
I think in Nigeria. One report categorized them as the, I think, 6th biggest bank in Nigeria.
Really?
Yes.
So beyond the Fugas, they should be number 6.
After the Fugas,
One FUGAZ 6, yeah.
Top 7, definitely. Top 7.
Piggyverse.
Yeah, Piggyverse.
I mean, and these are just a group of young people who saw an industry and innovated around it. So I'm also expecting that whoever these guys who have gotten these licenses must begin to think of borrowing from the playbook of the fintech space to be nimble enough, right, to serve this market with a simple message that is relevant at scale. I mean, they could choose to pick, for example, what do you call this market now? The student market, right?
True.
They could choose to pick the student market, right? Yeah. And play into that community, give them that simple message, and keep that message consistently going on in a way that they will be loyal followers. Eventually, they grow with them and you win a generation.
Because the student population is actually huge.
Yeah.
And that size of market is looking for particular products.
Yes, they have certain pain points.
They have certain pain points. They want affordable data. They want affordable calls. So if they can build a community behind the student population, I think that will be a powerful, strategy for any of these MVNO licenses.
And I think, let me just read this before I say what I want to say. There are objectives, the NCCs Objectives. I want to just read them out. So they said the NCC's objective for introducing the MVNO category. I mean, this is something that existed in various climes. Number one, they said that ensuring that all core stakeholders are adequately catered and protected within a virtual network. Then giving providers of virtual mobile communication service an opportunity to participate in the telecommunications provisioning market of Nigeria with an emphasis of improving the telecoms output of the country. The three is provision of operational guidelines within which telecoms business at the medium scale can flourish within the Nigerian telecom sector. And then number 5 is to provide an avenue for further contribution to the expansion of quality of mobile coverage through redundant capacity utilization, active infrastructure sharing, national roaming, and other telecommunication elements that enable it. So from my understanding of this, they know that there's a certain level of, there's still new unconquered territories.
Yeah, I think I saw a number. They said about 20-something million Nigerians.
27 million, yeah.
Yes, yet to have telecom reach.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the regulation is like, but even existing people, especially now that people can port. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can port to an MVNO, but if you can port,
God, man, that would be disruptive.
That would really be disruptive. You understand? Let me also read something else, Solomon. It says, what exactly is the application scope of the regulatory guideline? So what happens is that they've been able to give these guys the ability to handle tariff and billing, customer relationship management. They can issue devices. So you will see SIMs that are like, so for example, they say that device application service and SIM management, which improves the provision of value-added services, ensuring proper SIM management operation, meeting quality of service, KPIs, various KPIs and the rest. And they say, you see SIMs that are of brands that don't necessarily have the whole infrastructure that a typical MNO will have to operate.
True.
So it's very, very very exciting to see what innovation will be birthed.
Yeah.
I know, like just like every other country, Nigeria has its own fair share, that there are certain people that might have acquired these licenses that don't necessarily have these things all cut out. But it's going to be in the words of my friend Odumodu Black, a dog-eat-dog kind of scenario.
Yes.
Because people will need to actually find good marketing, because it's a game of marketing. It's no longer a game of infrastructure. Everyone has access to the same tools in their hands. So how good are you going to be at capturing your own audience?
Yeah.
How customized will you be?
Yeah.
How customer friendly will you be? Gone are the days of bad customer services, because now you have over 25 that have been approved to operate in the market, adding to the 4 that exist. That's about 30. So how do you play in this space and ensure that you have that competitive advantage? That's what any one of these license holders should be thinking about right now.
To be interested to see how this competition folds out in the telephone calls aspect of this of the telecom industry, because a lot of competition is in play in the data space. So to see how people will be porting from one telecom operator to an MVNO simply because they give better tariff plans, or perhaps maybe they have more affordable international calls, or maybe better customer experience. It will be interesting to see how that
plays out.
Plays out, yeah.
I mean, that's it for MVNOs. I really think anyone that has gotten that license should be thinking about these things: how you can build a community, how they can ensure that their message is very simple and it will stay easily in the mind of their consumers, and how they can keep that on repeats.
Yeah, and also the best part is that at the end of the day, the primary benefactors of this competition are the consumers in general, because the competition will benefit the entire...
Exactly. It will benefit the entire market.
The entire market, yeah.
But what brands... thinking of that now, that brings me to our next conversation today, right?
Yeah. On
brand loyalty. Can we really say Nigerian consumers are loyal to any brand?
Yes, we can say.
Really?
Yes.
You think so?
There are many people that are loyal to brands
in Nigeria
for various reasons. Yeah.
Okay, tell me.
I mean, okay, telecom that we're talking about now. There are
Yeah.
people that are loyal to.
So now, let me clarify.
Yeah.
You know, telecoms, there's a switching cost.
Okay. True.
Although, yeah, I mean, porting has taken care of some of it, but even that process of porting is not that direct. It's kind of hard.
Okay,
So,
despite the fact that there's a switching cost, which I agree with you, there are people that will not get a second phone because they are loyal to a particular telecom operator.
really,
Yes, definitely.
I mean, how many percent of people would that be?
Obviously not the majority, but there are people like I'm very loyal to my telecom operator. I use MTN, and I don't see myself using any other line.
I think you are not the general population.
I'm not, yeah, but I've met a couple of people. Let me tell you what's shocking. Okay, there are people that are loyal to other telecom operators.
Okay, I mean, but I think we should go more towards a more consumer goods kind of market, because then again, the telecom space,
banking.
Yeah. Okay. No. Let's not go to banking. Okay, but let's go to banking. Let's go to banking.
Personally, I'm not loyal to any bank because I think they are all the same. And the day that one is not, operational, you need the other ones.
I mean, I think when it comes to banking, I don't think anyone is necessarily loyal. Yes. I think people are just using what is working at the time.
At the time, yeah.
And one that they have an affinity for.
Yes, and also it depends on the size of your deposit. So if you have a very large deposit, you are looking at a tier 1 bank, so that you don't call them one day and they tell you to hold on.
I mean, but let's go to something like, okay, now the reason I brought this up was because there's a new product in town.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's not really a new product. It's been around for a while, but someone did an analysis of it and I read it, and which is Biggy drink, right?
Okay. Yeah.
We always assume that Coca-Cola had the biggest market share, right? And people will be loyal to Coca-Cola. But we've seen over time...
no, Biggie really penetrated the market.
That Biggie came and it was a function of price.
Yes. When it comes to price, you can't demand loyalty. People, especially in an economy like Nigeria, where people are trying to manage their household expenses and all. So every saving goes a long way.
Yeah, I mean, because you are competing for share of pockets.
Exactly.
And once you are competing for share of pockets, you must ensure that you are competitive. I mean, if, for example, now you say you're loyal to MTN, and I understand why. I mean, I also use an MTN line. But if MTN was charging, for example, 5 naira per minute, and other lines were charging...
Exactly. So that was the point I wanted to make.
2 naira.
I won't port, but I'll get a second line.
Okay.
I'll get a second line so that the MTN line will be a primary line, and then whatever line it is that I'm trying to save money with will be a second line.
Okay, but I don't think
for that specific purpose.
Yeah, a big man.
No.
A big man. Amen. But no, I mean, the reason why I'm saying this is because.
But also, are there numbers of people that actually ported when the porting?
Let me look for it. Let me look for it.
I don't think a sizable number of people actually changed their lines. I don't think it's up to 20% of the general market.
Really?
I don't think so. First of all, you have to consider the cost of going to switch. People would rather just, manage and just give their current telecom operator some time to innovate and just get better. Very few people actually got to that point where they were really dissatisfied and went to change their line.
Okay, so from what I'm seeing,
yes,
through the years, let me see where this data is coming from. This is from Statista.
Yeah.
So I have MTN, Glo, Airtel, and 9 Mobile.
Yeah.
This is Statista 2023. And they show me that so far, number of mobile numbers ported. MTN, number of people that ported into MTN were about 160,000 people. People that ported out were 441,000. Glow, number of people that ported in, 102,000. People that ported out, 274,000. Airtel, number of people that ported in, I think this is one of the greatest, 326,000. People that ported out, 337. I don't know. It seems like they are playing a balancing game here. Nine Mobile seems to be the largest port in. Number of people that ported in, 674,000. People that ported out, 172,000 people.
Wow.
So, I mean, those numbers sound very exciting.
So, I mean, it's not even up to 5% of the general market.
Well, I don't know. Let me check. But I understand what you're trying to say.
Yes, I definitely will have about 80 million mobile phone users in Nigeria.
Well, okay, let me read statistics by, what do you call it, by NCC, right? Okay, so in Q1 of this year, MTN gains more telecom subscribers in terms of those who ported to other networks. So MTN leads in inward porting as 30,000 subscribers port to other networks in 2022. So I mean, I think it's an ongoing thing, but people still port, right? I think people are still porting.
I mean, even in banking, that we spoke about earlier, I think everybody has a major account that,
true,
unless they are highly dissatisfied, they just stick with it. They may get other alternatives, but they just stick with that main account. So I think in a country like Nigeria, people will basically get alternatives, but that they will abandon what they've been using for a period of time. Is the minority that does that.
No, but I think, no, I don't think it's the minority. I think it's a function of what that product is, number one, what the switching cost of that product is, because things like milk and Milo, I mean, see me, I'm calling it brand as a category, but you get what I'm trying to say, like things like milk, things like beverages, right? Yeah. I think people easily switch in those categories because
cost, affordability.
Yeah, like the cost. I think also, like you said, banks. I mean, the process of closing your bank account, you just really I don't even think I know what it's like. I don't even know what it takes to close a bank account. Like
you just stop using it.
You just stop using it, and then maybe one day you need to do something. You start using it, But even a network provider too, the process of porting too is not really
very convenient.
So it's almost like trying to change your pension fund administrator. It's a very tasking process because, I mean, they try to make it easy, but still a taxing process. So, I mean, customer loyalty, for me, I feel like a large percentage of people who are pressed for cash, who are trying to make the best financial decision for themselves, would not necessarily stay with so what I'm trying to say is that, for example, now, people that are going to buy a $3,500 Vision Pro are very, very loyal people.
Yes, no, definitely, yeah, because the majority of the population will consider price.
Exactly. I think that's what I was just trying to get, because I don't think loyal. So I think if there's anything I want to leave our viewers with, is the fact that loyalty comes at a cost.
It does.
Right? Brand loyalty comes at a cost, and it's an exchange. It's not something that you go and sleep on. You earn your loyalty every single day you wake up and every single day that you have to interact with your consumer. Sure. And it's very important that brands understand this and keep interacting with their consumers, or else they will leave them.
True.
Because people get certain to a certain point and they say, oh, our customers are loyal, and they forget that you need to maintain that loyalty. Someone says that the price for greatness is the rent that you pay for it every single day. You never really own greatness.
True.
You rent it every single day that you wake up, because you have to keep paying the price. So I think also too, for people who are playing in any business space, really trying to build customer loyalty or trying to build a brand, they must know that they don't really own this customer's loyalty. That customer loyalty has to still be paid for. Yeah. Every single day through excellent service, excellent customer relationship, excellent delivery, constantly being obsessed with the customer's satisfaction.
I mean, and speaking to our context in Nigeria here, you should, every brand should always be looking out for their share of pocket. So what it takes for the consumer to pay for that product or service, because I think when it comes to brand loyalty, a primary factor is price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in a market like ours.
In market like that, the primary factor is price. Because right now, especially with the fact that PMS has been, liberalized, it's no longer being subsidized. And a lot of people, a huge percentage of their income is being paid, goes to transportation, goes to power.
Yeah.
Which that is what PMS takes. So your product should actually be very valuable and at a price point that can accommodate your consumer share of pocket. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Solomon. Thank you guys for joining us. It's been a wonderful time with you. If you are not following this channel, follow this channel, subscribe to this channel, like and share with someone that needs to hear these conversations. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Have a wonderful week, guys.